What is good, my people? I'm JU, and this one is going to be the long-term effects of abusing weed, abusing marijuana, right? And I'm not here to bash the plant because I've seen some of the good work that the plant can do. And I'll give you an example before we really get down to the long-term effects, right? So I had a OG, his name was Kavan. He's no longer here with us, right? But before he passed, and he passed in a very tragic way. Maybe I'll tell that story on another day, right? But before he passed, I had helped him get into making edibles and using like certain tinctures and stuff like that to make stuff because he was a chef, right? So he loved taking the plant and like mixing it with food and like just giving people good meals and stuff like that. But he also had some people that came to him for like gummies and tinctures. It was a lot of older people, right? With like aches and pains and stuff like that. And a lot of these people, now here in Virginia, we got medical places you can go and get that stuff. But a lot of them, they didn't like the stuff that they could get from the medical places. They liked the stuff that was on the black market, right? So long story short, after he passed, at his funeral, there were like people kind of beating around the bush about like speaking on it and how he was a healer. But one lady, she came up there and she like really spoke on it and called him a healer and was like saying how he was using the plant to help people with stress and help people with aches and pains. So there definitely is a good side of the plant, but there's also a negative side when it comes to people abusing it. So I'm gonna start with my story, right? So growing up, I probably smoked my first blunt around between 8th and ninth grade, right? That was the first time I smoked. And y'all know I grew up playing sports, so it was nothing that I got into heavy, but I did have friends that were like heavy users since like 8th, ninth grade, guys that, mind you, I'm 28 now, so at this age, they probably spent more days high than they have sober throughout their life. So I know a lot of guys like that, but me specifically, I didn't get into heavy use until I got to college and was playing college football, ironically, because the university I went to, it was all over the campus. Almost everybody on the campus was smoking. I actually was smoking in the summer before I went to college, and I had the plan to, okay, once football season start, I'm gonna stop and, I'm gonna be good, right? My first day on campus, sports players, cheerleaders, the band, they get to the universities before everybody else, right? So the first day there, it's this other guy on the team from Jersey, and he happened to have something that he brought down from Jersey with him, and I happened to be one of the guys that went and smoked with him. And let me tell you, I smoked almost every single day for about 2 years after that day, right? Which is probably why I ended up stop playing football. Well, part of the reason. And it was really no incentive to stop because almost everybody on the team was smoking to the point where the coaches knew. The coaches knew what was going on, but it was like, and they would threaten us, right? We have these team meetings and they'll say like, I know y'all smoking and we're gonna drug test y'all and all this stuff. And I used to take that seriously, like, oh my God, we need to stop, right? But then the older guys on the team would tell me like, they're not gonna drug test us. If they drug test us, they ain't gonna have no team, right? And mind you, a drug test never came. It never came. So I spent probably the next 2 years smoking every day until I finally kind of like woke up and decided like, yo, this is taking my money away. It's killing my ambition, killing my drive. It's doing more bad for me than good, right, over time. And mind you, even to this day, I mean, last time I probably smoked was probably a few weeks ago, but I still do notice like the negative effects it had over me, just even being sober now and looking back throughout my life. Like if I wasn't smoking for a lot of those time periods, and mind you, at some points it definitely was helpful, like Friday nights after football games in high school and stuff like that. You all sore and stuff like that. Like that's was more like a better time to do it, but for the most part, I was definitely abusing it. And mind you, like at this point, I've been almost everywhere. I've smoked in Jamaica, smoked in Canada, smoked in Cali. Like it's not too much I haven't. seen when it comes to the plant. So it's like at this point, if I'm not using it for a medical reason, then I'm just abusing it, right? Now, me, I'm one of the lucky ones that is able to stop kind of anytime I want. I did have a nicotine addiction also that came with smoking because, growing up, you listening to rappers, they telling you, oh, don't smoke this kind, you got to use a backwood or use this and that. And when you're first getting into it, you think you're just smoking weed, right? You're not understanding that the cigarello or the backwood you're using is almost covered in nicotine, right? And you're basically developing a nicotine addiction to the point where you need to smoke multiple times a day because it's not just about getting high, it's about the feeling of smoking and it's about that nicotine hit also. And that's the problem I've kind of seen when it comes to people whose minds aren't as strong as mine, right? Because like I said earlier, I got friends that smoke probably 13, 14, 15 years now, almost every day of their life, probably taking a couple days break here and there just so they could pass a mouth swab test for a job. And these guys, you can tell the physical effects of them abusing it and the mental effects. We'll start with the physical first, like as far as like how their bodies look, because mind you, I'm not no scientist. I ain't looked at no studies or nothing. I'm just going off what I've seen, right? And what I've seen from guys is, we see a lot of guys in their late teens and early 20s and they still got boyish bodies. This is because of drug use and also the plant, right? The plant is gonna raise your estrogen a lot more, and it's lowering your testosterone. So you smoking it every day, it's messing with the development of your body, especially if you're not working out and doing things to increase your testosterone, like playing sports and eating right and stuff like that. You're eating a bunch of BS and you smoking every day, you're gonna have a boyish, almost feminine body type. And beyond the physical effects, I've seen the effects of, you got to think, a lot of these people, if you smoked every day for years and years since you were a kid, you don't even really know who you are, right? You don't even really know your true identity. You don't know your sober self and how your sober self would react to certain situations because every time you do get sober, all your emotions rush back in, and then you're extra like emotional and extra mad when it comes to certain situations. And this is why we see, I haven't seen like the schizophrenia and like but I have seen guys that are like suicidal almost when they do start to become sober. So it's definitely some mental effects going on. Like I said, I'm not no doctor, not no scientist, nothing, but this is just what I've seen from people. I've seen people literally start going crazy just because because they're trying to stop, right? And it's a mix of that nicotine addiction and the marijuana addiction, and it's more so like psychological when it comes to weed, because I don't really think you can get physically addicted to it, but it's definitely like a psychological thing. Like you feel like you need it to cope, to get through the day, because it's helping you push your problems to the side, and then it numbs yourself out to the world to where like now you, which is I guess it can help them at some points if they are having like mental problems, but some points is putting you at a disadvantage socially, like just being able to talk to people, being able to network, being able to just reach your full potential as a person. If you're spending all the time of the day high, you're not gonna really be able to get much done more than like the base stuff. Like, I don't know if y'all have been to a job and been high. Almost every job that I went to and I was like high at the time, I ended up walking off the job or leaving or not going for some reason that I made up in my head, right? Rather than any job I went to that I was sober at, I flourished at that job. Like if I went to like my last job I had, I never went to that job high. I didn't really smoke before going there or nothing. I was only high there one time, and it was an accident because I had some edibles the night before, and I woke up the next day. I was going to work at like 4 or 5 in the morning, and I was still high for a few hours while I was working there. But beyond that, I didn't smoke while I was at that job, and I literally flourished at that job. I rose through the ranks very easily. And like I said, I'm the type of person, I don't like the half-ass stuff, especially sober me. High me, yeah, you might get a half-ass job, but when I'm sober, I'm on point and I'm reaching my full potential, you know? So hopefully this video wasn't too all over the place, but I did want to bring to light the good side of it. Like I did have that OG in my life that people did see as a healer because he was helping people with certain things. And then the other side of it of people that are abusing this plant and how it affects them in their life and how it affected me in my life. I feel like if I never smoked, I would be so much further along ahead in life, money wise, spiritually, mentally, a lot of different things, right? And you know, if I did, the only time I smoked was when I went on those trips. Like, you know, everybody gonna try something in Jamaica, and you gotta understand over there it's a little bit more natural. And I don't know if it's the euphoria of being out there, but it just feels different. The same thing with like Cali. Okay, you go to Cali first time, especially if you in a non-legal state. Yeah, you're gonna want to try a little bit of bud, which that's different from being in your hometown in your current environment and you using it to cope with all your problems every day, right? So I hope this video did open your mind up if you are the type that you're smoking every day, just throwing them back to back to back, and probably make you want to slow down a little bit, at least for your money, at least for your pockets, you know. And then you can get back to a space where if you need it for like a actual medical benefit, then it will be able to help you for that. And it's not just you just doing it recreationally and kind of slowing yourself down, because at the end of the day, when we're doing it every day like that, it's all we're doing is slowing ourselves down, holding ourselves back, wasting our time. Think about the time take you to find the plug, get the stuff, get your roll-ups and all that stuff, to be high, to do whatever you do when you high, eat, play the game, go to sleep, masturbate, whatever you do. It's usually a gateway to all your other bad habits. I ain't gonna say it's a gateway drug to other drugs. For some people it may be, but it was never like that for me personally. It was just, it was definitely a gateway to those other bad habits. That's all I got for this one though, man. If you like the video, drop a like on that joint, drop a comment. Let me know what you think about the plant. And if you ever was in a space where you was abusing it, let me know if you are the type of guy that you going you every day, but it's not affecting you in no type of way. I want to hear from all different sides of the spectrum. As always, play out. I'm out.